There, now I could move it up there. Because now it's visible. But now you can't see the little wooden tanuki because he's getting covered up. There, now there's a tanuki, a raccoon, and a tanuki. All right. There we go. P90. Gotta clean this thing. Well, I hope you guys are having a good morning or afternoon or evening or whatever. Do I own a 50 cal? I do not. All right, we're gonna put these up here. I may have to move the camera some more. Let's see. That might be a little bit better. Yeah, that's a little better. The gun you saw on Stargate and you've been obsessed with ever since? That's understandable. It's a cool gun. Why wouldn't you be obsessed with it? There was a dude that posted online images of his Form 1 when he converted his PS90 to a short barrel rifle. And for the reason why he was converting it, he wrote Stargate LARPing and all other legal purposes, and they approved it, which was really funny to me. Good evening to Germany. Hello, Effler. Also, thank you very much to Killer Dog for the Prime subscription. Is it not already an SBR? No, most of the time if you buy a P90, well, I'm sorry, most of the time if you buy a PS90 in the United States, because this is not a P90, it's a PS90, there's actually a difference. Most of the time if you buy a PS90 in the United States, it will come with a 16-inch barrel on it, and you have to convert it into a short-barreled rifle yourself. So let's go ahead and start taking this apart. Ooh. I got Germans, Brits, Australians, and Alaskans in here. Ooh. What is the difference between a PS and a P90? The S. Like, not to be facetious, that's pretty much it. The only real difference is that the P90 is full auto, and the PS90 is semi-auto.
Oh look, another resubscriber.
Thank you very much, Skywalker7, for the 3-month subscription. I really appreciate it. Honestly, this trigger pack really is not that dirty. It's a little gross, but it's not that bad. What is the hardest gun to repair or clean? I don't know, that depends. There's a lot of older guns that are just an absolute bastard to take apart. Probably one of the most common ones you would see, would be the Ruger Mark II. Ruger Mark I and Mark II are an absolute bastard to take apart. I hate doing it. Oh yeah, Mark III as well. I don't know why I didn't include Mark III in that. The Mark IV is when they made a massive improvement to it, and it is incredibly easy to take apart. Yeah, Ruger Mark I, Mark II, Mark III, any of those ones are just kind of a pain in the ass to disassemble. You can set that down right there. You know, this really is not that dirty. If this was an actual playlist, I would skip this song because I fucking hate trap music, but it isn't, so we're just gonna have to let it play out. I missed a bit message? Oh shoot, I'm sorry. Thank you very much for the bits, Crasher. Just need a 5.7 and I can hunt down Solid Snake. I do have a 5.7. I should have grabbed that one and I could have cleaned that too. I mean, it's not like I couldn't go grab it. Thank you very much for the bits, Mr. Halt. Primary, secondary, melee, and throwable loadout, what I most want. Dude, I don't know.
You have another subscriber.
Thank you very much. I am not there. 122 for the 1 month subscription. I really appreciate it, man. I'm currently working on getting the last gun cleaning stream on YouTube, but YouTube is being a pain in the ass. It's been uploading for almost 6 hours now, and it's still not done. It's still only at 45%. I might not need to actually pull that apart. That might be okay. That still feels pretty good. Yeah. That still feels fine. I don't think I necessarily need to pull that apart right this second. What's the rarest gun in my collection? Actually, I am not sure. I guess maybe the TP9. Thank you very much, Car
so
Sobin.
many gifted subscriptions. You must really
For the
hate
5
money.
gifted subs. I really appreciate it, man. And thank you, Car Sobin, also for the 1,000 bits. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for the many laughs this year with your content, also for your wholesome video with Mrs. Hazard. Congratulations to you both. End of the year is the absolute worst for my mental health. So thank you again for everything you post and the laughs and good feelings you help spread. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. You know, I'm actually not sure how much cleaning I really need to do on this. It definitely, it's not like cleaning it is gonna hurt it, but I don't know if I really needed to clean it. Whatever, it's fine. What one is better for home defense in a suburban area as far as handguns? Any 9mm would be fine. If you get someone that tells you like, oh, you should get this cartridge because it's not gonna punch a hole in a wall, or let me rephrase that. You should get this cartridge because it won't go through drywall. That's absolute bull. Basically everything will go through drywall. Oh, come on. There we go. Thank you very much for the bits, Stenner. I really appreciate it, man. If you don't mind, I turned your head into a house in Spore. I mean, hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do. If you gotta turn my head into a house in Spore, then, you know, I guess that's what you gotta do. But yeah, anyone that tells you, oh yeah, get this gun because this caliber will not punch a hole through drywall, so you can just shoot into drywall and then you don't have to worry about hitting anybody behind. That's bullshit. Don't believe him. Like, almost anything will put a hole in drywall. Where the hell are my 22 cleaning patches? There they are. Do I think it's funny when people ask how I met my wife, I can just send them a YouTube link? You know, I never really considered doing that before. I just tell them that I met her online. But if you... person that was asking about what handgun for home defense. Oh, that's 2 cleaning patches. Person that was asking what handgun for home defense, just Glock. Glock 17, Glock 19, Glock 47, any one of those. Any one of those would be just fine. Okay. Did I ever watch the Fallout web series Nuka Break? Yes, I am familiar with it. I didn't watch a lot of it, but I did watch some of it. Oh, you know what I can try to do with this, though, is I can try to move... I can find that other rail I have for this. See if I can switch some stuff around. That's not a bad idea, actually. Where did I put that rail? I found it. It was in a different room. All right. Thank you very much for the bits, Crasher. Now for the follow-up question, why is there only 1 screw in this bag? Be sure to get caught up on the bits. Yes, thank you very much for the bits, Crasher. Twice. I really appreciate it, man. Ooh boy, emote only chat. Beep boop. Activate emote only chat just as I come back. Hee 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 hee. So now we gotta take this off here. Oh, that might have been too much unscrewing. of that. There we go. That's good. What size bit is that? Is that a 3mm? That's probably standard because that feels very loose. 1/8? 1/8. And it's okay that I take this thing off there because it wasn't really zeroed to begin with. Do I even need to put a light on here? Probably not, to be completely honest. What the fuck? Maybe it is supposed to go on this side. Huh. So it is. Hey. Bad rail. Bad aftermarket P90 rail that costs a reasonable amount of money as opposed to the cost of a actual factory P90 rail, which is exorbitantly expensive. Do I not actually have the screws that are meant to go with this? Holy shit. Oh boy. Okay, well this is the correct rail that goes on there, but I don't have the correct screws apparently. That's dumb. Thank you very much, Crasher, for the bits. That's really annoying. Then what screws are supposed to go with this rail? Then who was phone? What screws are supposed to go with this rail? If it doesn't even actually line up properly there. All right, whatever. Don't ever let this be a lesson to you. Don't ever buy a P90. Never buy a P90. Didn't it come with screws? It did, but this is a rail that I've had for a bit. And I didn't have it installed on the gun, and I couldn't remember why I didn't have it installed on the gun, but now I remember.
Another resubscriber.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dragon, for the 2-month subscription. I really appreciate it, man. So here's the problem with the P90.
You have another subscriber.
Thank you very much, Lord Sedge, for the Prime subscription. Here is the problem with the P90. Because nobody really uses the P90, aside from like some small individual groups, because nobody really uses this thing, there's not really a whole lot of wide support for it. There's effectively no aftermarket support. There is some, but there's such a small amount it might as well be non-existent. Because there's very little support for this weapon, basically everything you have to do with it, you have to jury rig it to get it to work properly. Like, these mags don't fit in any magazine pouches. You have to cobble some weird thing together to get the magazines to fit in there. Which means that this thing, which reloading should be really fast, now reloading takes like substantially longer.
Oh look, another resubscriber.
Thank you very much, Sorio SQC Del Barrio, for the 5-month subscription. I really appreciate it, man. Yeah, it just means that everything is kind of a mess when you're trying to figure out how to get it to work with the P90. I love the P90, but man, it needs some support. Honestly, to me, the coolest thing about the P90, the coolest, most interesting thing about the P90 is not the receiver or the bolt or the stock, because the stock is just a plastic molding that's held together by 2 screws. None of that is actually the most interesting thing about the P90. The most interesting thing about the P90 is this and that. Those are the 2 most interesting things about the P90. Can I show chat my custom Stream Deck buttons without obliterating the cables? Possibly. The reason this is so cool is because, one, the cartridge is really interesting. The cartridge is designed with completely straight walls. This doesn't have a parent cartridge. Most other cartridges that exist on the market have some other cartridge that they're derived from. This is not derived from anything. They made the entire data package for this was made entirely by FN. So it's a brand new cartridge, which is really neat. And then the way the magazine works is really interesting, because you'll notice that when I put the second round in there, the first one starts to turn. So the cartridges rotate as they go in there. You can see it, it's right there. And then when it comes out, see how it rotates out of the way? That is, in my opinion, the most interesting thing about the P90 is nothing else about it. The rest of the P90, yeah, it's really cool. But the most interesting thing is just the magazine and the bullet is really interesting. I'm going to put those away so they don't accidentally get chambered. Cleared. Great. The oldest gun, what is the oldest gun I have? The oldest gun I have is a Colt that was made in 1918. Maybe I could clean that one next. I don't know when the last time I cleaned that was. There is some other cool, I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff about the P90. Like, there's a spot back here that's for like a cleaning kit or like a sight adjustment tool. That goes in the rear of the stock, right above where the trigger pack goes. See? Trigger pack goes in there. And then you put the butt plate on there. And then, oh yeah, the bolt. The bolt has this thing on it, which this is an anti-bounce mechanism. See, that's this little spring-loaded thing. So it's when the bolt goes forward into the gun, like this, this kind of can move backwards and forwards. So this acts like a dead blow hammer. So it just kind of, it keeps the bolt from going into battery and then bouncing several times. when it goes into battery during full auto fire. It's kind of neat that they added that to the gun. Is the P90 pretty easy maintenance? Yes, very. See, bolt goes in there. Is it tungsten? I'm not sure what it's made of. I take a lot of people shopping for their first gun a lot, which means handling a lot of different guns and taking up counter time. If they don't buy a gun, I make sure to buy ammo, mags, or something. No, it's fine. You're fine. I would personally, as someone working in a gun shop, I would rather you take your time and find a gun you like as opposed to just buying a random gun and then coming back 6 weeks later and being like, you sold me a shitty gun, I hate this gun. Why did you make me buy this gun? Yes, I made you take out your credit card and spend money on this gun. Anyway. Yeah. P90 is cool. This optic is kind of hot garbage. I'm gonna see if I can get you guys a good view of what it looks like looking through this optic, but it's gonna be almost impossible because this optic is not very good. Can I even, yeah, I can't really. It's gonna be really difficult because this optic is not very good. It's kind of crap. It's really hard to see anything through it. I mean, getting a view of any optic through like a cell phone camera is very difficult, but this is exceptionally difficult because it's not very good. These optics are incredibly expensive. Yeah, they're not great. The way you adjust the sights is weird because you basically use, thank you very much, Stenner, for the 100 bits. Also, thank you, K-Dog. I can't remember if I thank you. I did read your question, but I don't remember if I thanked you. Thank you very much for the bits. The way you adjust the optic is you have to use a very specific tool. There it is. They make a couple different ones, but this is the sight adjustment tool. You undo this wrench, or you undo this bolt, and then you have to use the other side of the tool to adjust this little screw that's in here up and down. It's really very strange. I'm not sure what they were thinking when they did that. Thank you very much, Grape. I really appreciate it. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, this optic is not very good, and this is the generation 1 of the optic. Actually, you know what? Here, maybe I can find a way to make this so that you can actually kind of see the reticle. Maybe. Let's see. I know that. Yeah, this is going to be almost impossible. So here's another weird thing about this optic is that there are 2 light sensors on. It's not even a light sensor. It's like fiber optics. There's 2 fiber optics on it. There's one right there, and then there's one right there. I don't know why it has 2 different fiber optics, but it does. So. There are other ways to attach optics to this. I have some other ones. The reason this optic is on here, despite the fact that it's not a very good optic, is because it's the optic that this gun originally was designed for, and it's aesthetic, so that's why it's on there. Then you take the receiver, or you take the stock, put the receiver on it. Here's another fun thing about the P90/PS90 is that on the inside of the ejection port, there is a little dust cover right here. See? And the interesting thing about the dust cover is that, well, it pops open when the gun shoots, which isn't that interesting, but if you open the bolt, close the ejection port cover, it locks the bolt open. I had no idea the gun did this. And I've owned 2 of these. And I just learned that it did this last year. I had no idea that there was the ejection port held the bolt open. And then to close the bolt, all you do is pull it back and let it go. And that closes the bolt. Yeah, it doesn't have last round bolt hold open. But what are you gonna do? Also, attaching a sling to this gun is almost impossible. There are some different options. There is apparently a sling that the Cyprus military uses that has a little buckle that clips in right here. And then the sling attaches to the back of it, and then a buckle clips in right here. I can't find any information on it. I can find exactly 2 photos of it. That's it. I have no idea who makes that sling. I don't know where to get one. It's interesting. I don't know why. I don't know why I can't find any information on it, but what are you gonna do? Is there anything else I need to do to the P90 other than the rail, which doesn't work, and minor cleaning of it? I don't think there's anything else I need to do with the P90. All right, we put away the P90, and then we will clean something else. Do I have a favorite VTuber? I don't know. Yeah, it's Dearney. Dearney, you're not a VTuber. You know, I really thought the P90 was going to be dirtier than that. I put like quite a few rounds through it. Are CZ guns any good? Yes, they are. CZ guns are very good. All right, I'll tell you what. I know what gun we'll clean next. Hang on. Hipster gun. Why did hipster gun win? Why do you guys want to do hipster gun? What's wrong with you? I can't believe you. All right, we'll do hipster gun. There we go. I gotta spell it the correct way. I gotta spell it the right way. There it is. He did everything he wanted to do in both of those games. What games? Hex, what games are we talking about? Starfield, oh yeah, yep. 5-7. I'm gonna have to get more gloves soon. I'm running out. I'm running out of gloves. I think the way that that is spelled is both really cool and also really stupid at the same time. It's, you know, personal opinion. I think the way FNH Five-seveN, the way that's spelled is neat, but also dumb. It's one of those things that I think is cool, but also if you insisted on it, I would be like, stop being stupid. Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. It's just a pistol. You see, look, they literally do. Oh, come on. There we go. 5.7. It's a little weird. Yeah, this is the FN Five-seveN. It's got they can take 20-round magazines. Again, for the purposes of YouTube, this magazine holds exactly 1 bullet, and it doesn't hold any more than that. Safety is located directly above the trigger on both sides of the gun. Slide release is only on one side of the gun, so it's not completely ambidextrous. Also, the magazine release is only on one side of the gun. You can flip the magazine release over. I've never done it because I'm right-handed, but you can flip the magazine release over to the other side of the gun. The neat thing about the trigger being where it is it's very easy to actuate it with your trigger finger, which is nice. So we'll just go ahead and take this thing apart. Disassembling this is actually pretty easy. So what you do to disassemble it, at least what I do, is I grip it like this, pull the slide back just a little bit, not much, and then you're gonna take this lever right here, push that lever backwards, and then the slide just comes right off the front. Very simple. And then barrel comes out of the slide. And disassembles very simply. This looks really complicated on the inside of it, but honestly, it isn't that complicated. This is the locking block that holds onto the slide and barrel. This is the front rail that the slide goes on, and then these are the rear rails.
A gifted subscription, how generous.
Thank you very much for the gifted sub, K-Dog. I really appreciate it, man. Not too terribly complicated on the inside. It does have a lot of springs and little tiny pins. And then there's your hammer right there. This is actually...
Oh, look, another resubscriber.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It needs to... This has a magazine safety in it. I forgot about the fact that it has a magazine safety. So this gun has something that's a little annoying. Thank you very much, G. Gladden, for the 18-month subscription. I really appreciate it, man. One of the things that's kind of annoying about this is that it does have a magazine cutoff. You can actually see it. We'll use this. No, you can't see it because of the light. It's right down in here. There is a little spring right in there that when the magazine is inserted, it lifts up on this arm. And then the lifting up on the arm allows this to go all the way up, which is the trigger bar. So until you insert the magazine, you'll notice if you look at this part right here, honk. I have completely forgot to put my headphones back on too. I feel like a goober. All right. If you look at this part right here, you'll notice that when I insert the magazine, that part lifts up. Focus. See? Did you see how it lifted up a little bit? I'm gonna do it again. Again, you're looking at, maybe if I turn it over, it'll be a little bit better. There we go.
Oh,
You're
look,
looking
another
at,
resubscriber.
Thank you very much, Identified Man Official. You're looking at, oh, come on. This is really hard to do, only looking at the camera on screen. Focus on the tool, not on my hand, camera. You're looking at this little lever right there. You can see it's got a little tiny bit of wear on the top of it. All right? When I insert the magazine, you'll notice that it goes,
Oh look,
boop,
another
and lifts up just a
resubscriber.
little tiny bit. And yeah, that's how the magazine safety works. Basically, all it's doing is it's lifting up on a little metal bar and allowing the trigger bar to move up, which then allows it to index with the hammer. Thank you very much, Captain Tasty VT, for the 4-month subscription. I really appreciate it, man. I'm not gonna dry fire the hammer when it's like this, but there you go. See, there is your little tiny single action hammer. The FN Five-seveN is actually a single action only handgun, which is pretty cool. It means you have a pretty decent trigger. And then you also have a little itty bitty baby ejector. It's the tiniest ejector. Look at how small that little thing is. It's like a toothpick. Look at that little baby ejector. Focus, camera. Focus. Focus. All right, fine, don't focus, I don't care. Look at that little baby ejector. Look how tiny that thing is. It's adorable. It's so small. Oh my God, I can't believe they made the gun from Counter-Strike a real gun. It is Poquito. Ooh, oh, just realized there's a molding date on the inside of this. When was this made? This gun was made in April. This frame was made in April. I don't know what year, but it was made in April. I probably could look up online based on the serial number when this gun was made, but I can tell you that it was made in April. If you look, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that either. Okay, so if you look down inside here, right, so there's a square part right here. If you look right past that square part, you'll see a circle in there that has an arrow in it. That's the thing that's very commonly done on injection molded plastics, where the circle, thank you very much for the bits. It does mean April made it. I wish I could show you this a little bit better, but man, it's really, oh, hey, there we go. There we go. You'll see a circle with an arrow in it, and there's 12 digits in there. The arrow is pointing to what month it was made. On other guns, on some other guns, depending on what it was done, or depending on who the manufacturer is, that will have 2 numbers on either side of it, which will be the year it was manufactured. So like, for example, this one is April, but there's no years stamped on it. So it's just, I don't know what year it was made, but I can tell you that it was made in April. It's part of a QC thing. You know what? I might have one that actually has a date stamped on it. Hang on. I might have one with a date stamped on it.
A
Let me
gifted
see.
subscription, how generous.
Could it have potentially been 2020? I don't think it was 2020. Ugh. I feel like this handgun is older than 2020. Maybe like 2017, 2018. Velcro sounds, I'm sorry. All right, I don't see a date code on this one. Which one has the date code on it? I know something does. Is it the Mark 23? I don't think the Mark 23, the Mark 23 might only have, yeah, I'm thinking of the Mark 23. The Mark 23 again has something similar to what the FN has, where it's just the, oh, I could clean this one next. Maybe we'll do that. Thank you very much, Coffee to Husky, for the gifted subscription. Anyway. Sometimes the date of manufacture is part of the serial number, sometimes it's something completely unrelated. It depends entirely on the gun. H&K uses date codes on most of their guns. So for example, this one, oh, actually, I don't know if I'll be able to see it. I'm not sure I'll be able to see it on the H&K P30, just because they did put a coating over it, so they may have coded over the date code. Yeah, kind of like Benelli. Sometimes they do that. D. Yeah, that's not the date code. The DE is just whatever. Thank you very much, Identified Man Official, for the 1,000 bits. I really appreciate it, man. I should check out Gunsmith Simulator. I could look into that. Oh yeah, this one does need to be cleaned. Goodness, I haven't cleaned this in quite a while. I really appreciate the 1,000 bits. And thank you, Lionheart. Russian Badger has one of these, and it does 50% more damage on enemies with lower tax brackets. That's true. Then there's also that apocryphal, I don't know if it's actually true or not. I have yet to look it up. But there's the story of the police department that was shooting a P90 at a gunman. And while he was being shot by a P90, he said, "Stop shooting me with that fucking gun." I think that any gun that you can get shot with and you can tell someone to stop shooting you with it, maybe not the best gun to use in a defensive scenario. The P90 is kind of like, I put the P90 in a similar category as like the American AM180, where its intended purpose is you're just supposed to hose the target down with bullets, right? You're not supposed to just kind of like single tap rounds onto them. You're just supposed to hose them down. AM180 is for riot control though. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the AM180 was created not for riot control, but for shooting body armor. I could be entirely wrong on that. You know what? I'm not gonna say that. I take that back. I have no idea. Thoughts on the 92 FS? I love the 92 FS. I am trying to convince myself to buy a Beretta 92 Brigadier Elite. It's $1,000 something, and I'm trying to convince myself I need to get it. Thank you very much for the bits, K-Dog. Is SDI any good, or are they just a diploma factory? I never went there. I cannot speak to them. However, I will say that I have not seen the best information or the best stuff about them. I don't know enough to be able to give you good advice on that. I will say that I have heard from some people that they're kind of predatory towards people using their GI Bill. So maybe do a little bit more research on them first. Like look into some other people, see if, look into some other people's reports, see what they have to say about SDI. Specifically, like go. I almost hesitate to suggest this, but like look up SDI GI Bill Reddit on Google and see what people are saying about it. Generally, you can find like some decent responses on Reddit. You just got to remember what exactly it is while you're looking through those responses. So yeah, I would highly suggest doing that first. Maybe don't go through them. I wish, personally, that I had used my GI Bill to go to pilot school. That's kind of what I wish I had used mine for. Or welding school. Either one. So anyway, K-Dog, yeah, I hope that answers your question at least a little bit. I would do some more research into it. I went to a normal public university. Yeah, I did. What do I think about the beige tan skin FN? Those are cool. Okay, so K-Dog, from what I've heard, the GI Bill will not pay for helicopter school. It will pay for fixed wing pilot school, but not helicopter school. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just, again, that is what I have heard about the GI Bill, is that they'll pay for your pilot school, but not rotary wing school. So again, that's something else to look into. But yeah, definitely do a lot of, I'm telling you, do a lot of research before you use your GI Bill, because that is probably one of the only good things that the Army will do to you, That's probably one of the only good things the Army will do for you post getting out, is that you get the GI Bill. Yeah, so make sure you find something good to use it on. What did I use my GI Bill on? I went to a public university and I studied technical writing. I had just started my 4th year of technical writing when I got offered what was basically my dream job. It's what I was trying to do when I got done with college, which was teach small arms repair or write about firearms. And I realized very quickly into my technical writing degree that I fucking hated technical writing. It's incredibly boring. 90% of it is writing business memos. Unless you get a good job somewhere. I'm not going to speak to every single technical writer, because I'm sure it depends entirely on where you are. That's the answer to most questions. If someone asks you a question and you don't really know how to answer it, the best way to answer that question is, it depends. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I really didn't like doing technical writing. I did not enjoy it at all. I was on my last year of college and I got offered basically what was my dream job, to teach small arms repair to the US military. I would say Army, but I was teaching Army and Marines. I got offered that job.
Oh goodness, so many gifted subscriptions. You must really hate money.
Thank you very much, Coffee to Husky, for the 5 gifted subscriptions. I really appreciate it, man. Train of thought completely derailed there. So I got offered my dream job teaching small arms repair at Fort Lee in Virginia. So I dropped out of college. I went down there. I just basically like moved down there. Do not do what I did, because what I did is basically I accepted the job, dropped out of college, moved to Virginia, didn't bother trying to find an apartment or anything first. I was like, oh, I'll figure it out when I get there. And I did figure it out when I got there, but I don't recommend doing that. It was a really bad idea. Got down there, taught small arms repair, really liked doing it, even though they stuck me in the M777 class. Well, first they put me in mortars, which I was not happy about because I fucking hate working on mortars. There's no challenge in working on a mortar tube. I'm sorry to any mortar people out there, but there's no challenge in working on a mortar tube. It's literally just it's like fixing a ladder, because most of what you have to work on a mortar system is the bipod. And it's like fixing a ladder. Thank you very much for the bits. I thought I would be a Harvard professor on guns and write to magazines like Guns and Ammo. Kinda, yeah. But yeah, most of what you work on a mortar system is the bipod, because grunts break them all the time. They just slam them around and then the bipod gets broken. And then the rest of the time you work on the mortar tube, which is a very thick tube with a dent or with a little protrusion at the bottom that makes mortar rounds go off. So first they put me in teaching mortars, which was dumb and I hated doing it. And then I got put in M777, which when I left the military, they were still using the M198. They had not adopted the M777 yet, which was the new fancy schmancy howitzer. The M198 was fucking old. I think they started using that thing in like Vietnam or something. So I had to learn how to teach the M777 which took like 2 or 3 weeks, because again, it's not really that complicated. Working on a modern howitzer is like working on farm equipment. It's just all hydraulic and pneumatic lines. That's pretty much all a modern howitzer is. Hydraulic and pneumatic lines. So I had to learn how to teach that weapon system. And I didn't particularly enjoy it. It's just whatever. What are those shake weight looking things that go on mortar shells? Those are actually the different charges for it. That's an excellent question, Apocalypse Cow. Those are the different charges. So with a mortar system, what you have on the bottom of the mortar tube, I don't have a mortar, or I don't have a mortar to show you. If I did, that would be nice. But you have your mortar. You know what? Here, let's do something real quick. Let's open. We're gonna do a little. We're gonna do a little drawing with Zach. You guys want to see a little drawing with Zach? Well, I'll show you how mortar tubes work. All right, so you have your mortar. So there's your mortar. Get your little fins. This one's blue because we're just pretending it's a, no, this one isn't inert, but whatever. And then on the bottom of the mortar, you've got a bunch of little holes like this, right? So, this is your normal mortar, right? On the back of it, you have the primer, which is basically exactly like the primer of a normal bullet. Yeah. So when it slides down the mortar tube, at the base of the mortar tube, you've got a little tiny firing pin that protrudes out the base of the tube. And when the round slides down the tube, it impacts this, which sets off the primer. The primer is not really, it's enough to launch it a little distance, but not super far. Those little donut shaped things, they look kind of like this. Those are different charges, and you basically take those little charges and they clip onto the bottom of the mortar tube. Not mortar tube, I keep saying tube, I'm sorry. They clip onto the bottom of the round itself, just like this. And the more charges you put on it, the faster and farther it will fly. So if you want it to go a short distance, you put one charge on it. You want it to go a longer distance, you put several charges on it. And what mortar it is will dictate how many charges you can fit on there. So like you can fit more charges on an 81 millimeter mortar than you can a 60 millimeter mortar. Yeah, but that's what those little donut looking charges on the bottom of it are. What's the effective range of these mortars? It depends entirely on the mortar system. 60 millimeter mortar, I want to say the effective range is 1,200 meters. 81 millimeter mortar, I don't know. I'm not going to give you information because I don't know. You know what? Here, hang on. M224 mortar range. Oh, okay, so the M224, you can get about 3,400, almost 3,500 meters. M224 is the one that, as far as I know, the Army and Marines are still using. It's, hang on. It's this one. This is the M224. This is one of the mortar systems that I got to work on. The interesting thing about this mortar system is that this one actually has a trigger on it. That's what this thing is right here. And it has a bubble level on here. So you can actually use this mortar system without the bipod entirely. You can drop around into the tube right down there. It'll hit the bottom, but it won't go off. You can like hand fire it. This is designed to be a super lightweight mortar that basically you can have a bunch of grunts carrying it around and using it for very fast, rapid support. Yeah, so you can drop the round in the tube, it won't go off, you pull the trigger, and then that's what fires the mortar. It's pretty neat. It's actually, this is one of the few mortar systems that I think is actually kind of cool. But that's just because it has an actual fucking trigger on it, so. Yeah. Kind of a similar thing to like the knee mortars that the Japanese had in World War II. So. Anyway. Like a Davy Crockett system? No, the Davy Crockett system is a recoilless rifle. That's a completely different thing. And technically, for the Davy Crockett, you need like a whole tripod and a bunch of other stuff set up to it. Like, there's really no way to fire a Davy Crockett on the shoulder, like in Metal Gear Solid 3. Does he put it on his shoulder? Does Volgin put it on his shoulder in Metal Gear Solid 3, or does he? I think he holds it. I think he holds it like at the hip, basically. Which is just like he's a big dude, so that's how he does that. There it is. Wonder where that went. All right.
You have another subscriber.
Thank you very much, Keefe, for the 1 month subscription. Wasn't the Davy Crockett nuclear? Yes, it was. It was well, it's atomic. So, fun fact, there is actually a difference between an atomic shell and a nuclear shell, or an atomic weapon and a nuclear weapon. A nuclear weapon implies fission. Or, I'm sorry, a nuclear weapon implies fusion. An atomic weapon implies fission. There is actually a difference between the two of them. But that's if you want to be really fucking pedantic. Which I do. Because why wouldn't I? Do I want to finish my teaching in VA story? Oh, shoot. I got, like, way distracted, didn't I? Where was I on that story? I can't remember. I was talking about teaching and then... So yeah, I moved to Virginia. I started teaching small arms repair. I actually enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. The job was fine. I was probably more depressed than I've ever been in my entire life there, but whatever. We won't talk about that. And it went fine for about a year. And then basically what they didn't tell me when I took the job is that it was not a permanent job, it was a contract job. So after a year, they would reevaluate everyone's contracts and decide whether or not they were going to keep us there. Standard government shit. So at the end of the year, the US government had just done a massive like budget cut, and they were like, well, we're gonna get rid of the amount of civilian contractors we have. So they fired like, well, I shouldn't say fired because we're not firing anybody, you're just getting laid off. It's like, that's the same fucking thing, but whatever. I know it isn't the same thing, but Good Lord. What's happening here? There we go. So I got laid off due to government budget cuts. And because they didn't properly explain that it was not a permanent job, it was just a contractual job for 1-year contracts. So yeah, no dream job, no bachelor's degree. Very disappointing, very sad, but whatever. Par for the course, I guess. Would I recommend the FN Five-seveN? I think it's cool. I like it. I think it's a neat handgun. So yeah, I'd say that's clean. FN Five-seveN. Thank you for inspiring me not to enlist and become a forest ranger instead. Dude, that sounds cool. I want to be a forest ranger. That sounds awesome. Was it like really difficult to become a forest ranger? I would range the shit out of a forest. When I did that poll earlier, what was second place? I think Old Gun was second place, and then Old Gun 2 was third place. Okay. Old Gun. Gotta put some stuff away. I don't know how badly the 1911 needs to be cleaned, but it's been quite a while since I actually took this thing out, so I probably should make sure that it's still in decent shape. Can't imagine it won't be, but you know. What have I cleaned so far today? I have cleaned a P90 and a 5.7. This chat, this is a, can I move this down just a little bit? Let's see if we can move this. Hang on. Maybe not that far down. Well, hardly that shaggy, sir. This is a U.S. military. This is a U.S. military issue Colt 1911, not the A1 version. Model 1911 of U.S. Army. United States property. This is before they went to the A1 version. On the A1, they increased the size of the beaver tail on the back of it. They took the hammer down just a little bit, so it wasn't nearly as wide. They also made the sights a lot wider, because you'll notice that these sights are very optimistic. This was kind of the thing that they were doing in the early 1900s, is a lot of pistols had like target, like really, really thin target sights on
look,
them.
another resubscriber.
Thank you very much, Big Beef Keith, for resubscribing for 2 months. I really appreciate it. So, this thing is really cool. This was my great uncle's 1911 that he got when he got out of the Army. My family said that supposedly he carried it in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam.
You have another subscriber.
Highly doubt that's the case. Thank you very much, Robot Death Beam, for the 1 month subscription. I really appreciate it, man. I highly doubt that's the case because of how good of condition this thing is in. Like, the bluing is all still really good on it. The only thing that has quite a bit of wear is you'll notice the front looks like it has some wear on it. And same thing for the back. It's got kind of like the straw coloring on there. There's some rust like right there maybe. So I don't think he carried this through all those, because if he did, it would be in a lot worse of condition. So considering that there's like no holster wear on it, possible reconditioning, I highly doubt it. I've looked this one up on, through Colt before, and according to them, it never came back to them for reconditioning or anything. It went from Colt to the US Army, and then that was pretty much it. It's possible that it could be well kept, but I don't know. I feel like what happened is he got out of the military. My great uncle got out of the military, and when he got out of the military, they basically went, all right, well, just grab a pistol out of the arms room because you're retiring. You've been in for 20 years, so just go grab one of the pistols in the arms room. So he grabbed this one. That's my guess. Yeah, that would be my guess as to why this one is in such good shape. Yeah, when they went from the 1911, so this one is the original 1911. When you get out of the military, you get to keep your pistol? No, not anymore. That's something that they stopped doing that in like the 1960s. Yeah. They stopped doing that a long time ago. If you join the a lot of Nordic countries, if you join the military, you get to keep your gun when you get out. They just convert it to semi-auto only. So some of the things that they changed from the 1911, which is this one, to the A1. Actually, you know what? Here, I can give you a comparison. Hang on. I can give you a comparison. What do they let you keep? Not much, surprisingly. When you get out of the military, you have to go to this thing called, oh man, CFI. You have to go to CFI when you get out of the military. And basically, they go through every single thing that you were issued the entire time you were in the military, and they want it back. They let you keep the whoopee. They didn't let me keep the whoopee. I just kept it, and I gave them a different one. That's pretty much it. But yeah, they make you turn in everything, and what's really annoying is that you'll have a bunch of stuff that's in like really good condition, like you'll have cleaned it and taken really good care of it, and you'll bring it to CFI and they'll go, no, there's dirt in it, you gotta take it back and clean it again. I legitimately had, I am not fucking kidding, I had a canteen, they issued me a canteen, and I never took it out of the plastic bag. It was a brand new canteen. I never once took it out of the plastic bag. When I went to get out of the military, I brought that canteen, still in the plastic bag, back to CFI and handed it to them, and they said there's water in it. I was like, how the fuck is there water in this thing? I never took it out of the plastic bag. Well, you didn't dry it properly. I never took it out of the fucking plastic bag. You take that back. Anyway, fucking CFI is a bunch of assholes. All right, here's a 1911. Here is what would be, this is a Tisas M45 clone, basically. It's the Tisas Raider. They basically cloned the Colt M45, and it works better than a Colt M45. Also, it's here. Like, this one actually exists, whereas the Colt M45 is basically vaporware because you never see them. And they cost an absurd amount of money. Anyway, regardless. 1911, basically a 1911A1 with some more changes made to it. So, some of the things they changed between the two of them when they went from the 1911 to the A1 version, they put a deeper scallop right here on the trigger. They started adding some texturing to the trigger itself. The backstrap on some of them, they made bigger. They have it like kind of bow outwards a little bit. They didn't necessarily do that to some of the other ones. It kind of depends on which one it is. The safety lever, they made the safety lever just a little bit bigger. Again, this one is an extended safety lever, so that's gonna be a little bit different. They slimmed down the hammer just a little bit, and then they increased the size of the beaver tail on the back because it was kind of biting some
You have
people,
another
so.
subscriber.
Thank you very much, GamerBoss666, for the Prime subscription. I really appreciate it. Anyway. I got back at CIF for you after my IA, and they had to take my dirt-covered, worn-out gear and write off everything I said was destroyed when the mortar hit my tent. There you go. Thank you very much, Nomad, for the 5 gifted subs. What's a little disappointing about this one is I don't actually have a magazine for it. I guess if I did have an original magazine for it, I wouldn't really want to use it. Do I and the wife plan on doing another video together? I would love to see you and her play Vampire Mansion together. That might be kind of fun. We'll hopefully do some more videos together soon. Is this the gun that Zach gave a bunch of shit to people who praise it? Yeah, I like to give shit to people that that praise the, not necessarily praise, but the people that think that like the 1911 is just the best handgun ever made. I'm not saying that this gun is bad by any means. This gun is actually very good. It's a great handgun, but it is a little obsolete. I mean, you get 7 rounds in a magazine. It's not very much. Ooh, yeah, it does need to be cleaned. What's the red silver thing near the stream deck? That's my screwdriver. I forget who makes this. I forget who makes this screwdriver, but it does that, so you can get a little bit more torque on it, and then that means that it spins. It's pretty neat. It's like 7IIL or something. You can find them on Amazon. They're pretty cool. Had a 102-degree fever yesterday and didn't sleep at all. Do I have any magic cures for you? I wish I did. Drink a lot of water. That's basically what I got. Drink a lot of water, man. That was pretty much what happened to me when I had that weird problem happen with my leg. Ah. Also, I don't know if I thanked Nomad for the 5 gifted subs. I really appreciate it, man. Somebody had asked if I like missed my family while I was living in Virginia. It was difficult for me. The reason I was really depressed when I was living in Virginia is because I basically had spent my entire childhood and like adolescence living in a house with mother and father and 2 siblings. And then I went to the army, where I was just surrounded by people all the time. And then I went from the army to college, where I had roommates and was surrounded by people all the time. And then I went to teach small arms repair, and I knew 1 person down there. And that was it. So that was quite a jump, going from all of that stuff to not having basically anybody to talk to. And like, I generally like being alone, but I also sometimes need someone to talk to. And that was really rough. Anyway, what was the craziest animal-related thing that ever happened to me when I was in the military, not counting the leech that attached itself to my balls? There was at one point I went on a field exercise, and we were out in the field, and I got assigned to go to drive a 5-ton truck with a water buffalo on the back of it, and deliver it to a smaller, like, cop, which I guess was just like a fun. I was supposed to be delivering it to a smaller base, right? So myself and the other person in the vehicle, we go deliver. We're part of this huge convoy. It's like 20 or 30 trucks, and this is in Fort Polk. This isn't in real life. We go to deliver this water buffalo to this infantry, this small like infantry base. And oh, this was the time I met Meat. I forgot about Meat until just now. We go deliver this water buffalo to this infantry. Sorry, a water buffalo is it's a trailer. It's a big tank trailer. Not like a tank vehicle, like a trailer that has a bunch of water in it. That's basically what it is. It's a giant water tank that you tow behind a vehicle, and it has like 1,000 gallons of water in it or something. I don't remember exactly how many it is, but it's a lot. Anyway, so we drop it off at this cop, and when we get there, we realize that the little wheel that's supposed to lift the trailer up so that you can take it off the back of the truck is broken, and there's like 500 gallons of water in the back of this thing, so it's really difficult to move it. Anyway, we're trying to get this thing off the back of this truck, and the lieutenant that's trying to help me is just like, this is fucking bullshit. Meat, get over here. And he starts yelling for Meat, and I hear like 2 or 3 other people like, Meat, get over here. And we're like, what? I'm like, what the fuck is a Meat? What is a Meat? I'm very scared now. This giant, like 6.5-foot tall corn-fed motherfucker. And I realize I've used that like several times, but yeah, this dude is massive. Big old fucking country boy. Has a 240 Bravo, which is a 308 belt-fed machine gun on a fucking 2-point sling. He's carrying it around. He's carrying a 240 Bravo around like it's an M4. That's how big this dude is. Dude is using a 20-pound machine gun as if it's a fucking battle rifle. Just like, Jesus Christ. Comes over, what's up, boss? Meat, pick this fucking trailer up. Put it down over there. Yep, you got it, boss. Grabs onto the front of the fucking trailer, lifts it up off the back of the truck, moves it back 3 feet, and then sets it down. You need anything else, sir? He's like, nope, get out of here, Meat. So that's Meat. Yeah, that's Meat. Meat's a good dude. IRL Super Mutant. Yeah, big guy. Big guy. Here, I'll show you. Thank you very much, The Real Pigeon, for the 1 month subscription. I like your name. The Real Pigeon is a fun name. Here, I'll show you guys. This thing, there we go, this thing. This thing, hang on. We'll get there, This is a water buffalo. This thing, dude just picks this thing up, moves it back like 3 feet and sets it down. Like how? Oh yeah, he basically was an ogren. Yeah, that's a really good description. Dude's just an ogren. I wish I could find one of someone standing next to it so you get an idea of size. Oh, here you go. That's how big, and that thing is filled with water. Did he pick up the rear? No, he picked up the front. The thing that was broken on our trailer was this. This thing right here, you can turn a crank and that makes it move up and down so that you can remove it from the back of a trailer. Yeah, you turn a little handle on there and then this arm extends so you can lift it off a trailer. Anyway. So, we drop off the water buffalo and then basically what happened is the whole convoy shows up at this base. They drop us off at this base and they say, all right, we're gonna go complete the rest of the objectives and then we're gonna go complete the rest of our objectives and then the convoy is gonna like go to here and here and here and here and then we'll come all the way back and we'll pick you up and we'll go back to our base, right? So we go wait by the gate and we're waiting for the convoy to show up and they're not showing up and it starts being quite a long time after when they were supposed to show up. And I don't know where they are. I can't get a hold of anybody on the radio. I don't know what's happening. So I go back into the infantry base and I find the lieutenant I talked to earlier and I'm like, hey, do you know why my convoy hasn't come back to pick me up? And he's like, oh, you didn't hear. And I'm like, what do you mean I didn't hear? Oh yeah, your convoy got freaking obliterated, dude. They're like all gone. They got overrun, everyone died. This isn't real life. Again, I should say this is not real life. This is a training thing. So Op4 overran the convoy and killed all of them. Killed all of them. They're not actually dead. He's like, yeah, they're all dead. Op4 was jumping up and down on top of the vehicles and screaming into the radios and going, Bakalaka Dirk Dirk Muhammad Jihad. And they thought it was real fucking funny. So yeah, we had to completely do a whole ComSec reset and, yeah, we had to do all kinds of stuff. Oh shit, okay, well, how the hell am I supposed to get back to my base now? He's like, I don't fucking know. That's not my problem. Eventually, out of the kindness of his heart, he found a place that I was able to go stay for the night, which was another one of the Mount training buildings at Fort Polk. Hang on. That's good. So Fort Polk has a bunch of these buildings that are for MOUT, which is Military Operations in Urban Terrain. I wonder if I can find an image of one for you. Let me see. Let me see if I can find an image of one for you. Oh, yeah, that's pretty damn accurate, actually. Yeah, that'll work. Great. Hang on. How do I remember all the shortened things? Dude, my brain is filled with My brain is straight up filled with just different acronyms. Anyway, so this is like one of the buildings that I was in, and like they have all these windows, but all the windows are just open. And you'll notice all these holes in here. So all of these holes are because they use simunitions inside these, or like literal paintball guns for training. They use simunitions or paintball guns. So basically what they do is they show up after all the training is done. They show up, a dude shows up with a fucking pressure washer and just blasts the inside of the building and sprays it all out of these little holes at the bottom. So they were like, okay, well you can stay in this building. This was the same building that a bunch of medics were staying in. I was like, all right, cool. So I'm like sleeping in one of these rooms. And because I didn't bring any of my shit with me, this wasn't supposed to be a long mission. It was supposed to be, I show up, drop off the trailer, they come back and pick me up an hour later, right? I'm trying to sleep on the floor, and it's not working. They get homeless people into those buildings. Actually, they really don't get homeless people because that's in the middle of like a military base, so you really can't get there unless you know somebody. Anyway. I'm trying to sleep on the floor. The medics gave me like a first aid litter to sleep on, which I will tell you right now, those are not fucking comfortable for any period of time. I mean, they're not really designed to be comfortable, so whatever. I'm trying to sleep on the floor in there. And in the middle of the night, I start hearing like a bunch of weird noises inside the room with me. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I shine a flashlight over there, and there's a freaking raccoon in the room with me. He just climbed in through one of those holes in the floor. And he's just like trying to rip open one of the boxes of MREs that's in there. So I just started yelling at him. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, man. And he's just, I'm just like, oh my God. So I was yelling at this raccoon, trying to get the raccoon out of there. I chased the raccoon out of the room, which now I feel kind of bad about, but whatever. It was free meal estate. You're right. Chase the raccoon out of there because, you know, it's a wild animal in Louisiana. I don't want it just suddenly deciding that it's going to gnaw on my face. Chase him out of there. Try to go to sleep again. Wake up about 45 minutes later, and now there's a skunk in the room with me. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned, I put MRE boxes in front of the hole in the floor so that another animal wouldn't be able to get in. And then, yeah, a skunk came in there, which scared me even more. So then I had to try to get rid of the skunk without it getting mad at me. I basically slept not at all that night. I really did not sleep very much. It was not a fun night for me. I wish I could say that was how I met Treasure Panda. Maybe I should say that's how I met Treasure Panda. You know, that's how I met Treasure Panda. There you go. The next day, they finally sent another convoy to come pick me up. But before they picked me up, the sergeant that was in charge of those the sergeant that was in charge of the little tiny base that I was at was like, oh, we need you to take all this trash back to your base. And it's like, we didn't have a trash disposal thing at our base. So I just had to load a bunch of trash into the back of my 5-ton truck. And then when I got back, they were like, what's with all the trash in the back of your truck? And I'm like, I don't know, not my problem. Or it was my problem, now it's not my problem anymore. So I just left. Somebody else had to like throw away all the trash in the back of the truck. I pretty much was like, if you guys didn't want me to have to clean up, if you didn't want to have to clean up a bunch of trash, then maybe you shouldn't have all gotten killed by OPFOR. The moral of the story is, never join the army. That was probably the most interesting experience I had with the wildlife. $1911. And it's all nice and clean now. And what else I'm going to do is just this, because this goes right back into a plastic bag. Because as I said earlier, and for anyone that is just tuning in, this is a 1911 that was built in 1918. So I want to make sure that it stays in really good shape. Need your opinion. I might be going into the military to be a mechanic. Which branch do you think I should go into? Do that, and should I go at all? This is what I tell anyone that says that they're thinking about joining the military. Unless it is something that you have wanted to do for your entire life, do not do it. Unless you feel the calling that you have to join the military, do not join the military. I wouldn't necessarily say that I regret. I would not necessarily say that I regret joining the military, because I really don't think there was any way I would have been talked out of joining the military. Unless for some reason they were like, no way, man, you're way too fucking autistic, get the hell out of here. Which honestly they should have done, but it was the wonderful days of post 9/11 when they would take literally anybody that would join. So that's how I got in the military, but I had wanted to join the military for basically my entire life. And again, I wouldn't say that I regret it, but there definitely was a lot more bad than good. Don't regret joining, body begs to differ. Yeah. Is that a CMP 1911? Nope, this 1911 is one I got from my grandpa, who got it from his dad's brother. I think that's how that works. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I could be wrong. It's from my great uncle. I'm sorry if I got the way that goes. But yeah, it's my great uncle's 1911 that he gave to my grandpa, and then my grandpa gave it to me. So that one is very important to me, but I really don't shoot it very often. I don't really use it very often. I occasionally shoot it and make sure that it's in good condition. So. If stationed in Hawaii or Japan, I wonder how much different Zach would be from today. I wonder that quite a bit if I had actually gone to a proper military base instead of fucking Fort Polk. Yeah, why don't we clean this one? Sure, why not? Boop. I gotta update the description. There we go. It's a little tiny Beretta. So this is a Beretta model 1934. Apparently was universally loved by almost every single military during World War II. They really liked it. It's in 380. The thing that kind of sucks about it is this is your safety, which is a little awkward to disengage. Oh, so sorry, it's a little awkward to re-engage the safety. See, it's right there. Also, the safety is the slide lock, but it only works when the gun is on safe. It does also have, ow, a last round hold open. But interestingly, the last round hold open is quite literally the magazine. Here, we'll put it on fire. So you're shooting it, pew, 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 pew. Runs out of ammo. Last round hold open. When you take the mag out, slide goes forward. It's a little strange. Also, the way you take the barrel out of this gun is really weird. Are you guys ready for this? I don't know if I'll be able to do it. But the way you take the barrel out of this gun is kind of strange. Wait, now I gotta remember. Yeah, I think that's right. Let's see. I actually don't know if I have the thing for this. I can maybe make do. Said I can maybe make do. Yep, there we go. Great. That's how you take the barrel out of this gun. I'm not even kidding. And then to reinstall the barrel, you do this.
You have another subscriber.
Barrel installed. Oh wait, I gotta take the barrel out, hang on. There we go. Anyway, thank you very much, Star Sailor, for the Prime subscription. And also, I don't remember if I thanked you, but thank you, Dryosynth, for the 17-month subscription. This was a very popular pistol for basically anybody in World War II. People really liked this thing. It's small, it works incredibly well, it's in 380, it's very simple, it's easy to shoot, very concealable. It was a very popular little handgun. There's an apocryphal story about World War II of an Italian officer who was with a bunch of Germans going to sleep one night and leaving his Beretta sitting on the table next to his bunk and waking up in the morning and finding a Luger P90 sitting there instead of his little Beretta. Thank you very much, E. Scissorhands, for the Prime subscription. I really appreciate it, man.
You have another subscriber.
And thank you, Ohu111, for the Prime subscription. Yeah, this is a single stack magazine. I don't remember how many rounds it holds, but I want to say it's like 6 or 7. I honestly can't remember how many rounds this magazine holds. How different is 380 to 38? Quite a bit different. 38 is a rimmed cartridge that is for revolvers, and 380 is a little itty-bitty semi-auto cartridge. In terms of diameter, they're very similar, though. Oh, I don't want Larry to show up. I don't want to deal with Larry. Larry's weird. He scares me. And also, last time Larry showed up... Ooh, emote-only chat. A beep boop. Last time Larry showed up, I got a bunch of copyright claims on my channel. Not strikes, that's important, but I got copyright claims. Because Larry's like, hey, I'm going to show you guys a bunch of videos, a bunch of memes on YouTube. That's looking a lot better. Yeah, this is a neat little pistol. It's just a little fixed barrel handgun. Barrel just literally goes in right there. It's incredibly simple. There really is not much to this handgun. And I think that's one of the reasons people liked it so much. Ah! Get... Stupid Jags. The Jag. Boop. Boop. Does that look pretty clean?
You have another subscriber.
Thank you very much, Firebird, for the 1-month subscription. I think that looks pretty clean.
You have another subscriber.
And thank you, Nab, for the 1-month subscription. The neat thing about this pistol is, despite the fact that it's like really worn looking, like there's a lot of holster wear on this thing, and it has this is actually really cool, like the color of the slide, that's this nice like straw bluing. That's really cool. I really like that. Anyway, the neat thing about this pistol is, despite the fact that everything is relatively worn, all of the internal components are in really good shape. Like, this pistol is a great little shooter. Ooh, come on. Ah, looks way better. There we go. I don't know if that's carbon buildup. Oh, yeah, that is. Okay, cool. Don't really know how I got carbon buildup there, but... I also don't know if that's just like gunk or rust or what that is. That might just be gunk. That's weird. Huh. Oh, you know what? I bet it's from the really, so when I bought this pistol, it came with a leather holster that I'm pretty sure the dude that sold it found it in the leather holster. God only knows how long it had been in that leather holster for, but that's probably what that junk on the side of the slide is. Probably just gross residue from the holster. That would actually make a lot of sense. That would make very much sense to me. Honk. What's the worst injury I've ever gotten from fixing or cleaning a gun? When I accidentally shoved a piece of lacing wire all the way up to like here underneath my thumbnail. It just like slipped and it went underneath my thumbnail, like up there. That's the worst one. Or maybe it's I don't know, it's a combination. It could be that. It could also be the time that I accidentally had a machine gun bolt close on my thumb. So I was inserting a headspace gauge into a 240 Bravo, which is an open bolt machine gun. I opened the feed tray cover. I pulled the charging handle back. I'd opened the feed tray cover. I pushed the gauge into the barrel, and as I did that, the sear let go of the bolt, and the bolt slammed forward closed on my thumb. So I had my thumb get caught in a machine gun. That's probably another one. I Garand thumbed myself with a 240 Bravo, yeah. Not a lot of fun. Didn't really appreciate that one. See, what they had neglected to tell me when they brought me the machine gun was that it was having problems with sear engagement. Basically, they were just like, oh yeah, we just carry it around with it without the bolt pulled back because, you know, we did that a couple times and it just like discharged into a wall. Could have told me that before you handed it to me. Beretta has been in the business for 500 years. Beretta is the oldest still operating gun company on the planet. Fun fact. They have been making guns longer than basically anybody else. I might need a little brush. Do I buy guns, clean them, fix them, and then sell them, or do I basically keep all of the guns I buy? For the most part, I do. Sometimes I'll sell guns if I just kind of am not really interested in it anymore. I don't want to say that happens all the time, but I wonder if they overstamped that. No, they didn't. It's just kind of weird looking. Are they still family owned? They might be. I'm actually not certain on that one. What's my favorite tank? My favorite tank is the Stridsvagn 103, the Swedish S tank. I like that little doorstop. It is the world's angriest doorstop. Choo choo choo. Thank you very much for the bits, Crasher. Really appreciate it. Is that the one without a turret? Yes. I like the Stridsvagn 103. It's easily my favorite tank. What is my favorite intentionally silly gun? I think like the Beretta Bobcat and Beretta Tomcat. Those are probably my two favorite, like, silly guns. It's like realistically, you're not really gonna carry those. All right. And now we lubricate. Finally, some decent ASMR streaming on this heathen site. Thank you. Well, that's most of...
You have another subscriber.
Thank you very much, your pal Heathen, for the 1 month subscription. I really appreciate it, man. What is my favorite science fiction gun? I've got a few different ones that I really like, but probably the service weapon from Control. I think that one's really cool. There were quite a few guns in Destiny, too, that I really liked. Mida Multi-Tool and Mini-Tool were both really neat. I liked those two. Cerberus +1 was cool, even though that thing was goofy as hell. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot that the safety fell out. Ugh. Because this pistol is so weird, I'm not used to how it assembles so much differently than basically any other pistol I own. There we go. Prepare for barrel reinstallation. Barrel reinstalled. Is there any old-timey gun I like? Colt 1911. Good God, that's a heavy out. That's a heavy mainspring. The Colt 1911, Mauser C96, Krag, like the Krag rifle. I like a lot of older guns. I just don't really own that many. Oh, man, that is a really heavy mainspring on this thing. I mean, it's a straight blowback gun, so what do you expect? Yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll do it one more time just for anyone who didn't see it. For anyone who didn't see, I'm gonna show you how you remove the barrel on a Beretta 1934, or how you disassemble a Beretta model 1934. Are you ready? Are you ready? This is how you remove the barrel on a Beretta M1934. There you go. That's it. And then that's how you reinstall the barrel. Alofs? Oh yeah, Alofs would be cool. There's a company out of Turkey, I believe, that is reproducing the Alofs loading mechanism for shotguns, but they're only selling it in, I think, Canada and Australia. So I'll probably never be able to get one. Is that thing even secure in there? Oh yeah, it's totally secure. Yeah, it's totally fine. That barrel is not going anywhere when you're shooting this gun. What are my thoughts on Mosin Nagants? They are a perfectly serviceable military rifle. Sorry, perfectly serviceable bolt-action military rifle. must edit more things. How long do I think it would take to clean a G11? Oh God, I don't know. That sounds like an impossibly long time. Supposedly, and again, I have no idea if this is true, but I heard that what they were proposing to do with the H&K G11 is that because it had that massive clockwork cassette in the back of it, that when you were in the field, you would just remove the clockwork cassette mechanism, give that to the armor would take the clockwork cassette mechanism out, swap it out for a new / clean one, and and then take the old one and disassemble and clean it while it was out of the weapon. But I don't know if that's actually true or not. Sounds like it might be true. Sounds feasible. There you go. Wonder what drugs they were taking to make the G11. They weren't taking any drugs. They were just very, very, very intelligent. Yeah, those can definitely use some cleaning. Is it true that the M9 is just a P38 with a longer dust cover? No, I don't think that's true. I think the M9 is a really good handgun. I was actually just reading earlier. I was reading part of the congressional hearing paperwork on the M9 trials, or the joint service handgun trials. It's interesting. But yeah, I would not say that it's a I would not say it's a P38. In fact, the gun Walther entered in the trials to replace the 1911 was, I'm pretty sure, a modified version of the P38. I could be completely wrong on that, but Walther did enter one. It got eliminated pretty quickly. Have I ever been a sports guy at all? Not really. Really, the only sports that I even watched on like a not even regular basis, just like occasionally, is like hockey. Yeah, I really don't watch many sports. I'm not a huge sports guy. Hockey is pretty much the only one. I'll watch the Olympics when those come around. Especially curling. I fucking love curling. What team? I guess I don't really have one. I mean, I do have a team, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Curling is underrated. Curling is great. I love watching curling. Have I ever tried the F2000? You know, I want to like the F2000. I really do want to like the F2000. The problem is I don't like bullpups where I can't retract the bolt and see what's going on inside the gun. In the F2000, you gotta lift the little toilet seat to be able to tell what's happening inside it. And I don't like that. And even then, you open the little toilet seat and then you really can't see anything happening on the inside of the gun anyway, which is kind of annoying. Is it? Okay, that's not loose. Do I own a high point? I do not own a high point. I don't want to spend money on a high point. If someone gave me a high point, I would not say no, but I don't want to buy a high point. The thing that I'm using, this is a Norton's universal cleaning stick that is from the website listed on it, which is countycom.com. Not sponsored, I just really like this. Yeah, I use these for all kinds of things. The cleaning kit, I forget who made these specific things. Yeah, I really like the Norton's universal cleaning stick. They're really good. They make them out of plastic. This one is made out of titanium. It works really well for getting into hard to reach places. Also, somebody had asked what stuff gets in here. It's just carbon. It's just carbon from the gunshot. Carbon gets literally everywhere. Are there any guns that if someone offered to you, I wouldn't accept? I can't really think of any. As long as it's like legal, I would accept it. And then whether or not I decided to keep it would be a different matter entirely. Basically, like any Taurus semi-auto, I'm not going to keep. The Honor Defense Honor Guard, I'm not keeping that thing. The Remington R50. No, you know what? Actually, I take that back. I would keep a Remington R51, but only because it's utter garbage. Because of how bad that gun is, that's why I would keep it, because I think that's interesting. Get in there. Would I keep a Zip 22? No, because it's like the Zip 22 isn't cool enough. Like the Remington R51 is cool. The Zip 22 isn't really cool. It's just a shitty, tiny blowback pistol. So I wouldn't keep a Zip 22 because it's not like cool or interesting to me. It's interesting in that it killed a small arms company, and it's interesting in that it's shit. But beyond that, I wouldn't want to keep one. I mean, and again, I bring this up every time the Zip 22 is mentioned. I owned a Zip 22. I bought one when they first came out because we didn't know how trash they were. And also it was like 200 bucks. So I was like, oh, hell yeah, it'll be 200 bucks. And if it doesn't work, whatever. And if it does work, great, it'll be really cool. And I bought it and it was such a miserable failure that even afterwards, I was like, it's $200. Wow, this thing is trash. I am fucking ashamed that I bought this gun. But now I bring it up all the time because we didn't know. Was the price not a red flag? No, usually 22 pistols don't cost that much money. Usually 22 pistols are actually relatively inexpensive. It's a collectible. Now it's a collectible. At the time, it was hot garbage and I wanted to get rid of it. So I sold it to a gun shop for like 50 bucks. I gotta clean off all this hand gunk on my pistol. Look at all this hand gunk on there. Look at that. Gross. That's just from carrying and shooting this thing. Clean. You know, I don't know how long this playlist actually is, but I'm pretty sure it's under... I'm pretty sure it's like a 30-minute playlist, and it's just looping. Cleaning the magazine. When will I stream shooting guns? Probably not anytime soon. I would not hold your breath for that. I already feel kind of weird about doing anything live. Like, other than video games, obviously. Like, this, all of this feels kind of weird to me. So I don't think I'll be doing a, I don't think I'll be doing any... like shooting streams anytime soon. Because I'm honestly a little concerned that maybe the camera might just like pop up suddenly and then everyone sees my face, which would, you know, really make me not happy. Okay. I could always wear like a balaclava or something, but I could wear a baklava. I could wear a baklava. I'm gonna go to the store and wear a baklava. Delicious and concealment. Oh no, I'm sure you got the name right. It's just the moment I hear balaclava, I think baklava. I can't help it. It's, you did nothing wrong, Sir Khan. I just, like, cannot help but think of those two things. It's my brain being my brain. Is my teenage face any different from my normal face? Yeah, it's a little bit different. I think. Well, maybe it isn't that much different. I don't know. How is voice acting going? I have not actually done any in quite a while. Not that I really was like doing any actual voice acting to begin with, but like I haven't really done any voice acting shorts in a while. I probably should do more of those, but I don't know. They really don't get many views and it just kind of feels like, what's the point? Isn't this the gun Keanu used in John Wick? You know, I don't remember. Maybe. It might be the John Wick gun. Didn't know this is something you could do on Twitch? Yes, it is. They apparently do not have a problem with you doing this. They got more mad at me about classical music that was playing during the last time I did this than they did about the guns, which is funny to me. Hey, wait a minute, was that orchestra recorded before 1945? Or like whatever fucking date, I don't know, whatever. Any rifles I might want to clean on stream soon? I don't think they'll fit. Otherwise I would, but I actually don't think they'll really fit on screen. Yeah, Twitch really doesn't mind if you do firearms related stuff on stream, which is again very surprising. You can even do you can stream you at an actual firing range, and they really don't particularly care as long as you are being safe. Great. Cleaned.